The world is changing, and it's changing faster than ever before. All the old rules of how countries deal with each other, they're basically being torn up and rewritten. So today, let's break down how India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, sees a path forward in this brand new, totally unpredictable world. Okay, let's just dive right in with this quote because it perfectly captures the core problem. The sheer speed of change today is just mind-boggling. A single tweet can literally have the same kind of impact as a major policy announcement. That stability we all kind of took for granted, yeah, it's gone. It's been replaced by this constant high-speed flux where, anything can happen. And it usually does. So the first big takeaway from his analysis is that we're not just in a phase. We have officially entered an era of deep, profound volatility. And let's be clear, this isn't some passing storm. This is the new normal. And what he means by radical unpredictability is that you can't just look at the past anymore to figure out what's coming next. The old models are broken. This unpredictability is disruptive by its very nature, right? It's a fundamental shift where tiny little events, even, yes, a single tweet, can set off these huge, totally unforeseen global shockwaves. Okay, so if the world is in a state of constant chaos, what can countries actually do about it? How do you protect yourself? Well, the answer is all about building resilience and trying to safeguard against the unknown. The name of the game right now is this concept called de-risking. Just think about it. The pandemic, recent conflicts, they showed us just how fragile our global supply chains really were. De-risking is all about making sure that doesn't happen again. It's basically job number one in foreign policy today. How do you hedge against things that, by definition, you can't even see coming? And at first, this was mostly about not putting all your eggs in one basket when it came to supply chains. But as Jaishankar points out, the idea of risk has gotten a whole lot bigger really fast. Now countries are worried about being too dependent on certain production hubs or on specific markets to sell their goods, and even on single lines of communication. Suddenly, the entire economic chain is one big potential vulnerability. So what does this new reality of constant risk actually do to the world? Well, it fundamentally reshapes the entire global power structure. It changes everything. Jaishankar's point is pretty clear. The world has moved on. That simple North versus South divide, that's ancient history. We're living in a much more complex, much more nuanced, and definitely multipolar world. In this new game, nations are on the hunt for more options, more partners, and more diverse allies to help them handle all these complex shared problems. And here's a really crucial point he makes. This isn't something that's just happening to countries. No. According to Jaishankar, the world's most important players are actively driving this change. They are building a multipolar world by choice, not by chance. All right, so how does India fit into all of this? Let's get into their specific strategy for not just surviving, but actually thriving in this new environment. It's a really fascinating model for how to turn your own domestic successes into global influence. It's this really clear 4-step playbook. So, step 1, you build up your own powerful capabilities at home, like India's incredible digital public infrastructure. Then, step 2, you get real-world experience using those tools in massive national projects, like their mission to get drinking water to every single home. Step 3, you package those experiences up into solutions that other countries can use. And finally, step 4, you share those solutions to build cooperation with other developing nations. And the big idea behind all of this is pretty simple, but powerful. A country's influence on the world stage comes directly from its own internal strength and its ability to stand on its own 2 feet. If you want to be a pole in this new multipolar world, you've got to build your own power from the inside out. Now, to really get why India's position is so unique, you have to look at its economy. With a per capita income of around $3,000, it's very much still a developing nation. But, and this is a huge but, that is only half the story. Because at the exact same time, it's also somehow a major global development partner. India is running huge assistance programs, some of them worth billions of dollars, in nearly 80 countries. And that's a direct result of that playbook we just talked about, taking what you learned at home and sharing that capability with the world. So where is all this headed? What's the end game? Jaishankar talks about what he calls a re-engineered world, one that's taking shape like right now, super fast, right in front of us. And this really breaks down 3 of the biggest transformations. The workforce, it's shifting from being national to being global. Trade, even with all the political drama, is actually finding new and smoother paths. And partnerships, well, they're no longer just based on old traditions.
Now, there's a compulsion, as he puts it, to find new allies in completely new places. So, what's a huge driver behind this whole re engineering? Demographics. As Jaishankar puts it, this is a reality you just can't escape. Many developed countries simply won't have enough of their own people to meet their labor needs, and that's going to force the creation of a much more integrated, distributed global workforce. It has to happen.
Which leaves us with one last and pretty provocative thought. As the old world order fades away and a new one is built from the ground up, it's the new partnerships being forged today, out of pure necessity and ambition, that are going to shape all of our futures. The real question for all of us is, which of these new alliances are going to be the ones that really matter?